So, what if every single time you saw someone else fail, it wasn't just random bad luck? What if it was a direct, personal warning meant specifically for you? Today, we're diving into a pretty radical philosophy from a spiritual lecture that completely flips the script on hardship. It says suffering isn't just something that happens, it's a message. And trust me, this idea is going to challenge everything you think you know about failure, success, and even just helping someone out.
Okay, imagine hearing that. You are next in line to fail. It's jarring, right? But according to this philosophy, that's not a curse. It's a final, urgent warning from what the speaker calls great nature. You know, the fundamental order of the universe. It's the message you get right before you're about to suffer the exact same fate you're seeing in someone else.
So how does this whole thing work? Well, first, we're going to unpack that warning hidden inside other people's struggles. Then we'll get into the really controversial part, the idea that most charity is actually harmful. After that, we'll see why volunteering is really all about educating yourself. Then we'll look at the super strict laws that supposedly govern your money. And finally, we'll figure out what this all means for your fastest way out of whatever you're facing.
All right, let's get into the main idea here. When you see someone going through a tough time, maybe their business is collapsing or they're having a health crisis, this philosophy says that's no accident. It's a lesson that has been put right in front of your face, for you.
And this brings us to something the speaker calls the 70% rule. Get this. The moment you directly witness someone else's major hardship, like you're actually visiting them in the hospital, you are already 70% of the way to being in that exact same situation yourself. You've crossed a line, and you've only got 30% to go.
And here's the crucial part. It's not about feeling sorry for them. It's supposed to be a massive alarm bell for you. That last 30%, that's your final chance, your window to learn the lesson and change your own path before that clock hits 100%. And suddenly, you're the one in the hospital bed.
Okay, so this is where things get really controversial. Because if every hardship is a necessary lesson, then what does that mean for our idea of charity? It basically turns the whole concept of helping upside down.
So the speaker just puts it right out there. Is your kindness actually a curse? The argument is that what we think of as charity, giving food, giving money, trying to provide immediate relief, is actually destructive. Why? Because you're getting in the way. You're interrupting the very lesson that great nature is trying to teach that person.
So you can think of it like this. On one hand, you have conventional charity, which is all about giving aid. But on the other hand, you have this new paradigm. And this new approach doesn't give you a crutch to lean on. Instead, it's designed to force you to confront why you're in that mess in the first place, so you can actually learn to stand on your own 2 feet.
And this quote, wow, it really just cuts right to the heart of the whole argument. The idea is that by giving someone an easy out, you're not actually solving their problem. You're just enabling it. You take away the pressure that was meant to force them to change, and you accidentally trap them in a cycle where they always need help.
So, if giving someone aid is the wrong move, what on earth are you supposed to do? This leads to a total reimagining of what it even means to help someone. Turns out, it's not about them at all. It's about you.
This philosophy calls it a field study. You're not going to see someone who's suffering to be their savior or to give them anything. You are there as a student. That person in the middle of their hardship is your living, breathing textbook. Your only job is to study them and figure out the real reason they failed.
But what are you looking for exactly? It's not about their bad business plan or their diet. The speaker says that all major hardships come from just a handful of fundamental character flaws.
So your mission during this field study is to look for these specific things. Are they just impossibly stubborn? Do they blame everyone else for their problems? Are they filled with resentment? The second you spot one of those traits in them, your job is to immediately turn that mirror around and find where that same exact thing exists in you. Getting rid of it in yourself, that's the actual work you're there to do.
And this idea of learning step by step doesn't just apply to character. It applies with incredible precision to your finances. The speaker lays out what they call a cosmic law of financial growth. It's like a ladder, and you are not allowed to skip a single rung.
So, for instance, let's say you're really struggling to just handle a small amount of money, say 100,000 won. That's about 75 bucks. According to this law, the universe will only give you problems and opportunities at that $75 level. You're not going to get a shot at $1 million idea if you haven't even figured out the $100 problem.
The big takeaway here is that you have to completely master the level you're on right now. It's like a video game.
You have to prove you can handle the small stuff with diligence and care. Only then do you build the credibility for the next door of opportunity to even show up in your life.
And this progression is presented as absolute, no exceptions. Once you master one level, you unlock the next challenge. You go from 100,000 to 1 million to 10 million, and so on. Trying to jump ahead isn't a shortcut. This philosophy says it's a guaranteed way to fail.
And the speaker is dead serious about this. It's not a suggestion or a helpful tip. It's presented as a law of the universe, as precise and unforgiving as the law of gravity. There are no shortcuts, no loopholes. It's a perfect system.
Okay, so let's put all the pieces together. What's the ultimate point of all this? How do you actually use this philosophy to get out of a tough spot and find success? Well, the answer is both incredibly simple and ridiculously hard. The fastest way forward, strange as it sounds, is actually the slow path. It's about embracing the tiny little problem right in front of you instead of dreaming about some big, flashy solution you're not ready for. Anytime you try to leapfrog a lesson, you're just setting yourself up to fall. Real, lasting progress only comes from mastering the very next step, no matter how small it seems.
Which leaves us with one last, very personal question. Just forget about your huge goals for a second. Look at the specific, maybe even boring, difficulty you're dealing with right now. According to this law of hardship, that's your textbook. That's your lesson. So what is it trying to teach you?